We're continuing to talk about our pastoral planning efforts here at St. Margaret's. And before we get into the recommendations for ministry, which we want to be kind of the main section of this podcast, I want to talk briefly about just the dynamics that go into a lot of just how people believe in the faith and also behave in the faith. You know, the moral teachings are a big part of this whole question of bringing people into the church, having them stay in the church. And I know, Michelle, you had some insights from some talks that you listened to and some researchers. Could you tell us about that a little bit?
Sure. There has been a lot written in, I would say, probably the past 20 years about what's going on in the church, and specifically how some younger people are not as engaged. We talked about this before. It's one of our things. So some of the contemporary research, one that I'll just point out, I'll just give a shout out because he is an Archdiocese of Baltimore native, Dr. Bob McCarty. He did a very robust process on, it's called Going, Gone, the disaffiliation of young Catholics. And he looked in depth in terms of what was going on. He did the same thing that we're doing here. He listened. He asked questions of young people and he listened. And one of the key takeaways that we had that really struck home for us was that there has been almost like a complete flip in how people come to faith or how they join an institution. So it used to be, like we'll just say maybe pre-Vatican II, okay? Just to kind of give a demarcation, that the way people decided whether or not to join something is that they found a group of people that believed similar things that they believed and they decided to join. Well, it's the reverse now. It says like in this post-Vatican II and the way the culture is now is that it's the reverse. Actually, believing is the first, belonging is the first thing. So if you can create a community where people feel like they have a sense of belonging, then they start behaving like the community behaves, and then they start believing. So it's kind of like opening up. And I'm sure you see this all the time. I know I saw it when I was on staff here at St. Margaret, that people need to, we all need to be ready to receive what the teachings of the church are. And there's this process that goes on there, and this is what it is that this belonging, a sense of belonging is vital. And so that was one of the things that prompted us to put community and welcome. We said, we were, after reading the research, we're like, we're on track with that community and welcome. And just in terms of what we heard back from the surveys, we were getting the same thing from people. That was very important. And I am happy to say that most people think that St. Margaret's is a pretty welcoming community. So that was good to hear. Yeah. But so that was there. So is that what you're looking for? Is there something else that we were talking about that?
Well, we were talking earlier in the podcast about, you said that these 5 themes are in no particular order. And that's true in a sense, but if belonging is the thing that leads to belief and behavior, it necessarily takes precedence. It's a foundation upon which we build. And just something to bear in mind that, especially as we're coming out of COVID and we can actually gather again, that community is going to play a big role in increasing belief, that free will of belief in the Lord and His church, and also behavior